Death Stranding is best when it shuts up. Being a game by Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima, it's naturally filled with bizarre characters, lengthy exposition, and indulgent cutscenes. But it's in the long, quiet stretches between all this, when it's just you hiking alone across a stark, haunting, post-apocalyptic wilderness, where it really shines. In these moments, Death Stranding is quite unlike anything I've ever experienced in a game, or any other medium for that matter. You are Sam Porter Bridges, played with strange charisma by The Walking Dead's Norman Reedus, a courier delivering cargo across what's left of the United States. A supernatural cataclysm called the Death Stranding has driven the last of humanity underground, leaving the barren, windswept surface plagued by soul-sucking ghosts called BTs, rain called timefall that rapidly ages anything it touches, and other high strangeness. Your mission is to hike across North America from the East Coast to the West, connecting scattered settlements to the chiral network, a kind of spiritual successor to the internet, as you go. Sam can detect BTs which are otherwise invisible, with the help of a tiny, creepy baby strapped to his chest. One character insists these so-called bridge babies are merely equipment, not people. But Sam can't help but form a bond with the eerie infant. The majority of your time in Death Stranding is spent out in the open, plodding slowly from one place to another. It's essentially a feature-length fetch quest. But the environment and the challenges it throws at you makes these trips worthwhile. This curiously Scandinavian landscape is serenely beautiful with a grand sense of scale and a bewitching atmosphere. But it's not just for show. Death Stranding is secretly a brilliant hiking and mountaineering simulator, and every piece of rough terrain you encounter is a puzzle to be solved. If you're careless and you rush things, Sam can trip, stagger, lose his balance, get swept away by powerful rivers, or slide down steep inclines, losing or damaging cargo in the process. This forces you to slow down and take a more thoughtful approach, using ropes and ladders to create paths across the landscape. Along the way, you might have to slip into Metal Gear Solid mode briefly and sneak past BTs, or deal with extreme weather including disorientating blizzards. You might even get knocked out by terrorists and have your cargo stolen, forcing you to sneak into their camp and take it back. But after all that hardship, you make it to your destination and it feels incredible. If this sounds like a lot of hard work, well, it is. But one of my favourite things about Death Stranding is how it drip feeds you new gadgets and tools to gradually make things easier. As you progress through the story, you unlock an almost overwhelming array of kits, including power gloves for faster climbing, BT-killing blood grenades, and mechanical exoskeletons that let you handle more weight, tackle tougher terrain, or run faster. But you're never alone out there. Death Stranding's most overt theme is connection, and this manifests itself in some brilliantly clever, asynchronous multiplayer. As players traverse their world, dropping ladders and ropes or using a device called a PCC to build river-spanning bridges, battery-boosting generators, zip lines, roads, and other helpful objects. These then appear in other people's games, including yours. There's something wonderful about struggling up a mountain only to spot a rope left by a fellow traveller, which then spares you a chunk of climbing. The broad strokes of the story are great, and Sam's mission to connect a fragmented civilization is an effective hook. But so much of the finer details of the plot are told in uninteresting ways, whether it's through lengthy, overwrought cutscenes, overlong, text-heavy emails, or rambling radio chatter. The cast is great though. Mads Mikkelsen is an engaging and charismatic villain, and there's a compelling otherworldliness to Lea Seydoux' performance as fellow courier Fragile. Thankfully, most of the game is spent out in the field, delivering packages and battling the elements. But a parade of seemingly never-ending cinematics towards the end really tested my patience, and this is coming from a Metal Gear Solid fan. That said, there are plenty of memorable set pieces and moments. The cutscenes, as long and self-indulgent as they are, feature some really imaginative, trippy imagery, and it's rare to see something this offbeat and surreal, created with a budget usually reserved for a high-end blockbuster action game. This is a lavish game in every respect, which playing on a high-end PC in 4K really hammers home. The PC version runs great and has a bunch of extra features, including a new very hard difficulty setting, ultra-wide support, and bonus missions where you can unlock Half-Life and Portal-themed cosmetics. Every misgiving I have about Death Stranding is ultimately snuffed out by the magnificence of hiking across that sweeping, rugged wilderness. It's an unbelievably slow game with an almost comical amount of backtracking, especially towards the end. Yet, somehow it kept me interested all the way through. Granted, a ponderous, pensive delivery simulator would be a hard sell for a lot of people. But if you value games that defy genre, reward patience, and aren't afraid to get weird, Death Stranding is a wild ride worth taking, even if it stumbles along the way.